In this video, I'll be showing you how to run some of the most common loops in Dead by Daylight. Before I begin, let me say that there are many variables that can influence how well these strategies will work for you. The distance between you and the killer, your perks, the killer's perks, player skill, and the killer you're facing will all influence what your results look like in-game. So with all that being said, let's get on with our first scenario. Now, I might have missed the memo on what the official names of some of these structures are, but I'll call this first one the T+L Wall Loop. Let's watch how a chase unfolds without taking the optimal route. So running to the right just gave Fang another vault. Allowing survivors to vault windows multiple times during a chase is a disaster, because unlike pallets, windows don't go away after you use them. If BHVR didn't force windows to close after 3 vaults, survivors could potentially loop killers forever. So when looping, if you're the survivor, you want to get as many window vaults as possible before having to drop the pallet. And if you're the killer, you'll want to deny as many window vaults as possible to force survivors to spend their precious pallets. But anyways, let's try a different route this time. So cutting through the middle was a better play here. It prevented Fang from having easy access to the window, and she would have been forced to either throw the pallet down or take a hit. Our next scenario takes place at the 4 Eyes loop. I call it that because, well, there's 4 walls and they're all straight like the letter I. Let's see how this first chase plays out. So running to the right just gave Fang easy access to the window. We'll have to try something different to prevent that. Same thing happens when I vault the window. So running to the left seems to be the best solution. It forces Fang to either drop the pallet or take a hit before she can vault the window. Next is the claw loop. If you can't already tell why, I call it that because of the giant claw machine right next to me. Let's see how this chase plays out. So vaulting the window just gives the survivor another loop. We'll have to try something else. So backpedaling forces the survivor to circle around the claw machine, which consumes too much time for her to use the window again. Next is the debris loop. These can be found on pretty much every map, and there's nothing special to them. Survivors usually only get 1 or 2 loops out of them before having to drop the pallet, so just run it normally. Next is the T+L Wall Loop. You'll find this one on a lot of maps as well. Let's see how this chase goes. Vaulting the window in this loop just gives a survivor a free vault on the opposite wall. We'll have to try something else. Running along the outsides of the walls is just as bad as vaulting the windows. Running to the right of the L wall is the best option here. It forces the survivor to run at the T wall at such an angle that you can easily access both sides of the structure. Next we have the short wall, long wall. As a survivor, you should always run around the long wall and ignore the short wall. I'll show you why in a minute. But first, let's see how this chase plays out. While following Fang did force her to drop the pallet, it took some time. Let's see if we can speed that up a little. By backpedaling at the halfway point of the wall, I'm able to meet Fang at the center and either force a pallet drop or score a hit. Now let's see what happens if Fang tries to run around the short wall. A mace to the face is what happens. Given how small the short wall is, the killer can easily circle around either side and lunge to score a hit. So always use the long wall as a survivor. Next is the broken seawall loop. I call it that because the main portion of this loop that contains the window looks like a sea, with a bunch of debris scattered around it. Let's watch this scenario. Looks like vaulting the window was a mistake with this loop. We'll have to try something else. I was able to cut Fang off from the window by backpedaling at the corner of the seawall. The window of this loop is powerful due to the shape of the wall, and chasing the survivor normally around either side lets them vault the window multiple times. So it's crucial that you try and mind game them here. Next we have the Killer Shack. You'll find this structure on almost every map. Let's watch how this first chase unfolds. Looks like vaulting the window is not the answer here. We'll have to try something different. To end this loop quickly, you'll need to backpedal right at the entrance of the shack when the survivor is about to vault the window. Depending on how skilled the player is, however, they may be expecting this and simply ignore the window. But more often than not, they'll vault the window to try and get an extra loop. Additionally, when it's possible, you want to chase a survivor in this direction. Entering the killer shack on the side where the pallet is makes it harder for survivors to perform a fast vault. And finally, we have the broken L wall loop. I call it that because the window of this loop is nested in an L wall surrounded by broken walls. Let's see how this chase plays out. Looks like running to the right just gave the survivor easy access to the window. Let's try something else. I probably could have hit Fang here, but just barely. Maybe there's a better way. There was a shorter path to the window I was able to use to cut Fang off. She could have also used this path, but at the position I was standing, both sides of the window were just a short distance away, making it unsafe for her to vault. So that's about it for this guide on running common loops in Dead by Daylight. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for future content.